Okay. Talk about Purim a little bit. As we know, the ikka of Purim is that there's a Nes Purim. You know, we compare Nes Purim to Nes Chanukah. And you know that in Chanukah there's an inyan of Persumei Nisa. And Purim is also Persumei Nisa. But why do we go to a shul with many people? Because we're Roivah Hadras Melech. So I first want to be mechalik in different types of Nisim. Chanukah and Purim. And these are also Nisim that happen to all of us every day. What's the pshat? That I'll tell you a story. Right? It's officially supposed to do a milsa de bedichase, so for Purim especially. So I'll just say one joke that I saw. The one joke was that it must be that a Hasidic Yid was the one who decided that to make it Ibiyar should be Adar, because Adar is Marbin B'Simcha. So if it would have been a Litvak who made it, he would have made a Ibiyar in Av. Okay, but there was a story like this, that there was a Yid who didn't have children for 12 years. And he went to every Rebbe and to every Makubal, and he went to everybody. And Gunish Health, and nothing worked. Now, I just want to be makdim that the anisim that happened, that the nes happened already, but it wasn't begilui. And the anisim that happened, you see often a nes. And that you'll see is the chiluk between Purim and Chanukah. So anyways, there was this person, he didn't have children for 12 years, and he went to everybody to get brachas and everything that he had to do. He did everything he was supposed to do. Nothing worked. Finally, after 12 years, his wife tells him, listen, we're married 12 years, and, you know, I love you very much, but, Pru Ravu, Maisa, we're not having any children, I want a divorce. So he said, says, you know, we get along fine, so why do you want a divorce? No, we have to have children, that's halacha, you have to get divorced. So he went to Rav, a Paisik, and he asked the Rav, what should he do? And the Rav told him that Ha'api halacha, he has to get divorced. So he should get divorced. So he went ahead and he gave a get. And what happened was, right after he gave the get, he found out that she was expecting. Like a month after. Problem was, he was a kohen. So you can't go back to her. Was tutman. So he went to his Rebbe, whatever it was, and he asked him, what should he do? He needed chizuk, it was a tzerbrachen mensch. He finally had a kid and he had to divorce his wife, like, you know, it's mamish tzerbrachen. So what he did was, went to his Rav, or whoever it was, and he said, what should I do? He told him, go to Chutz La'aretz. You have parents in America, go visit your parents, maybe you'll get a little clear-minded, it'll be better for you. So he goes, he lands in America, and he finds out the minute he came there, he found out that his father had a heart attack. So he ran straight to the hospital, because the father had a heart attack. And Lamaisa, father tells him, he comes to visit his father in the hospital. His father says, Baruch Hashem, I'm fine, had a heart attack. But now I had a heart attack, there's something I need to tell you, and I never told you, is that when, you know, Baruch Hashem, we have many children, but in the beginning we didn't have any children. And Lamaisa, we adopted you. So you're not a kohen. So Mele, he's able to get back to his wife. I'm saying the Maisa because the Nes of the Maisa happened before the Maisa. Just there was no Gili in the Maisa. Mashal for Purim. There's a Nes that happened in Purim. There was no Gili that it was a Nes. Until La'acha HaMaisa. Masha'enk in Chanukah, there was a Nes Goloi. You had a thing of oil that's supposed to last one day, and it lasted 8 days as a Nes Goloi. That's why there's a more bigger inyan of Persumei Nisa that we could have a Nes that Shaloi Kederech HaTeva is on a higher madrega than a Nes that's on Derech HaTeva. Which also comes to tell us a little bit, why is Purim Ki Yom Kippurim? Everybody has drushes. I'm just going to stick in my 2 cents. That we know the Ikke Chet that is today, this comes from Shem Elokim, is that everybody says, Olam HaTeva, there's no Rabbani Shalom, everything is the way it is, plants grow on their own, people live on their own, Rabbani Shalom doesn't play a role, and if he does play a role, I would say, please don't mix into my business, I know what I'm doing. That's the teva, that's Olam HaTeva. Those are the ikke koyach of Amalek in Olam HaTeva. The word of Purim is that we should be megala to ourselves, that there's a nes b'chol yom v'yom kol rega v'rega. If you look in Siddur Rashash, you'll see that he shows how there's a different sphere shaylet every year, every month. It goes from the thousands to the hundreds to the tens to the season. If it's winter, summer, and then he goes to the month, and then to the day, and then to the hour, minute, second. A different din every second. So from there you see the Rebbeinu Shalom is shaylet haya hayve v'yiyah kol rega v'rega. The dimyon of Purim, the Yom Kippurim, because we be'etzem in machshava we're chayta all the time, that we're not putting our minds to it to realize that Rebbeinu Shalom is here every second of every day. That Olam HaTeva, that thing that we lack the awareness, that's the ikechet that we go through every day. And that's why Purim is megalad, that every second of every day the Rebbeinu Shalom is with us. That's what Purim is telling us. And the kapara of Yom Kippurim is because that makir, the gadlus of a Purim, of showing how every day every minute of every day is a nayanes, which we don't necessarily appreciate. And that's why there's a sushtel of Yom Purim, Yom Kippurim, because we have to be makir yenachet. Of course, yenachet, where does it come from? It comes from the zuama of the Nachash HaKadmaini that he put into Adam HaRishon. Right? So, there is one part of the guf, this everybody knows, that was not nichshal in the chet of Adam HaRishon, and that's chush hareach. Right? As we know. You see b'chush that if you eat something up, it's gone. If you smell it, it's still here. It's like there's a little nitzchi. You could smell flowers. You could have one person smell the flower, or 1,000 people smelling the same flower. This flower is still there and it still smells the same. You don't take away the smell. If the smell goes away, it goes away. But you are not using it up. And that's a word of nitzchi. That's why Purim, because since there was no pegam in the chush hareach of Adam HaRishon, with the shaylet on Purim, which I'll tell you in a minute how. Therefore, you see that Purim is also nitzchi, because that's coming from the chush hareach. And you see also, Chazal tell us that chayiv inish livisume ad lo yoda. Why does he use a lashon of livisume? What's livisume? Right? That you should smell good when you drink. I don't know too many people who smell so good when they drink schnapps. They smell like schnapps. They don't smell so good. So what's pshat chayiv inish livisume? So avada, it's not going on that. Avada, it's only going on the pnimius ha'adam, that we can zayin shika v'agoya, as they say, and we can zayin shika that you reach madregas in kedusha. So what's the madregas in kedusha that we're supposed to reach? So as we know, Lun Shar Kavanis, I'm sure everybody knows it, that one of the ikekayches is that the Yisoid Abba, right, bypasses the Zah and comes through the Nuk, and there's a Giloy of Ateres Yisoid Abba, straight through the Nuk. You see, he says over there exactly why. Because the Yisoid of the Zachar is Aruch, and the Yisoid of the Nekeva is Katzer, so therefore it comes out and it has its own Giloy. So with that Giloy, so we're getting directly from Yisoid Abba without going through, so to speak, any middleman. Right? So that tells us two things. First of all, it's the besumi, that it's schmeckt good, that the way you are acting has to be in a madrega where you're making a kiddush Hashem as opposed chas v'shalom to chil Hashem. And the other thing is that this thing that went from Abba straight down to the Nukva to us means that there's Adalo Yada, because Das doesn't play a role here. Because normally Das is the Gili of the Abba, right? But now the Nukva is the Gili of the Abba. It's coming straight. So there's no Das over here. That's Adalo Yada, that a person initially doesn't mean you get Meshuggah that you don't know anything. Fakert. You come to Samadrega in Kedusha that you could get directly from Abba as opposed to getting it from the Das through all the regular channels. And that's Ad Lo Yoda, that the Spheres HaDas is not playing a role over here. Okay, also noch a zach that we say that there should be no chilik, right? Really, it's Hainu Hach. What's the first thing we do on Purim? We lay, right before Purim, we lay Pasha Zocha. Ze'in of Mechiyas Amalek. What's the Ikke Koyach of Amalek? Just like you said earlier, the Ikke Koyach is that we live in Olam HaTeva, everything happens of its own, right? And what do we have to do? Of course, this din of Mechiyas Amalek is not to go looking around for people who identify as Amalekim, because today you could identify as anything that you want to be. So if somebody identifies as Amalek, so you have a head to kill him, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about that the Amalek, of course, everything's going on our pnimius. We have Yena Zuama of the Nachash, which comes out by Amalek, we're mushba from it. So first, Mechiyas Amalek is of course talking about our pnimius. And now we have a thing called Arur Haman, why do we want to have Arur Haman? Arur Haman, what's Arur? I said it once before. Chutz, it means you shout and you curse him out, but Arur means that there's no continuation. Bracha is a ribui, continuation, more and more and more, and Arur is it's cut off. So this inyan of Mechiyas Amalek and Arur Haram is to cut off that Sidra Achra which is inside you on a regular basis. So the Arur Haman and the Baruch Mordechai have to work hand in hand. Because the Arur Haman, the only way to get the Baruch Mordechai, the Riboy of Torah and mitzvahs and everything else, is first you have to cut off the Arur Haman. You have to get rid of all those bad machshavas and klippas that are inside you, and then the bracha comes out. So Ad Lo Yada Ben Arur Haman the Baruch Mordechai is a word that you should be in such a high madrega that the Arur Haman you don't have to work on, and the Baruch Mordechai you don't have to work on. It comes on its own. That when you reach Yena madrega, it's not pshat that you don't know Ben Yamina L'Smaila. It means that you reach those madregas in Kedusha, which are all the way up. Okay. No.